Hello everyone, my name is Alex Angel and you are watching my tutorial about turbofan engine airplanes exhaust. It all started like 1.5 years ago when I was participating a project, a short movie called Edge of Space, where my task was to create for several shots engine trails from different airplanes. Some of them were with jet fighters, and one shot with a big and massive B-52 bomber, the shot you are watching right now. So here my task was to create this dark smoke coming out of the engines. And after finishing this project, I was really surprised to know that this movie appeared in the shortlist of Oscar this year. Unfortunately, it didn't get a nominee, but still, Edge of Space received lots of other rewards from different movie festivals, especially for the VFX. And after this, I realized that it would be nice actually to recreate this shot one more time, but from the scratch, with the animation and shading and lighting and compositing, and with this to create a tutorial to share here on my channel. So this is exactly this tutorial that you're watching right now, and today I will show you how it was created, from the animation of the airplane, the setting up the camera. Later we will create the smoke from the engine. If any one of you don't want to mess with the animation, maybe you don't like it, you're not interested, so you can go directly to the chapter number 2 and start right with the effects. And I will upload the scenes so you can download the max file. In the chapter 3 I will show you how I prepared the smoke for the rendering, what values has to be adjusted. There are not so many, but still a couple elements are very important, especially the opacity graph. And in the chapter 4 I will show you how I made compositing, post-production for my shot, not for the movie one, because in the movie I was responsible only for the effect. So this is the plan for our tutorial for the next 1.5 hours. And let's proceed to the chapter 1 with the airplane animation and the camera setup. So let's proceed to the practical part of our tutorial, and here's our model. It's kinda simple, pretty low poly, but I just downloaded from the free website, but it's absolutely fine for our tutorial today. It is already pre-made one thing. I placed 4 dummies in front of each engine, and the fans of the engines are already connected to these dummies. So when I rotate dummy, the fans are rotating as well. Also, each dummy has a small animation for the 4 frames. It's just a rotation, pretty fast for the 4 frames. It rotates kinda a lot. And if you go to the curves, you'll see this animation over the y-axis. And if you press this button, you also can go to the edit controller and out of range types, so you can make this animation linear. By default, it will be set to constant, so after the end of animation, it's just stopped. And if you make it linear, the animation will continue just endlessly till the end of the time range of your scene. And all of this made for all 4 dummies. So this is the animation. Also, I made the animation for this for the radar. But this is not very important. You might have another model, maybe, or just like I had a B-52 where there's no radar or you cannot see what is inside the engine. Anyway, all these are very minor elements. So let's focus on what is really important, and camera position. In my movie shot, the position of the camera was very accented to the airplane. And in my own shot, I decided to shift a little bit the accent to the engines and its trails. So I found the camera position in the viewport somewhere like this, a little bit angled to the airplane. And if you press Shift F, you will see the actual frame size. So it is better to see what is in the camera view. In addition, we can play a little bit with the camera angle and try to find a look like a camera with 100 millimeters lens. And once we are happy with the camera angle, we can press Ctrl C and the camera will be created from our viewport. And now we can hide it because we don't need it right now. Alright, let's go back to the camera view to our airplane. So this is how we will see the airplane in the middle of our shot. We are still able to shift a little bit because our camera is not locked yet. Okay, something like this. I like it more. So now the really important step, let's create a dummy that will control the animation of the airplane. It is very important to place it correctly just in the middle of the airplane. I'm checking the position only by the polygons, by the mesh. I'm not using the align tool because it might place dummy incorrect. Okay, left and right is fine. And vertical position, I'm placing the dummy just in the middle of the wings where they are attaches to the body. So not here, not too low, just in the middle of the body attachment. The wings go a little bit higher, but at the body they are just in this point. Okay, next let's select all whole airplane and deselect the animated parts, these fans and the middle core, because they are already animated. And also let's deselect the helpers. No, we need helpers as well, sorry. Okay, now let's check what we have. Okay, I think there's a small problem. Looks like the central part of the engine, this core element, is not connected to the small dummy. Yeah, it's static. Yeah, it's a small problem, but we will connect it and fix this issue. Yeah, now it's fine. Okay, one more time. Let's select everything. Deselect our big dummy. Deselect our animated fans and its cores. So basically all animated elements we need to deselect. And let's connect to the big dummy. No, I think we need to deselect the radar as well. And now let's link to the dummy. Let's check. Okay, I think we still need to connect radar to the dummy as well. Let's check one more time. Yeah, everything is spinning. Our animation is fine. and our dummy is controlling whole airplane. Okay, fine. Let's go to the camera view and let's start making our animation. So in fact, the length of our shot is 165 frames, so that's enough. And approximately at this position of the frame, our airplane will be around a frame 70. So let's select our dummy and fix it with the key, and then press auto key button, go to the frame 0 and drop down our airplane out of the view from the camera. And let's adjust a little bit more, so drop it out of the frame. To move it with the high precision, you need to hold Alt on your keyboard. So approximately like this. I think somewhere -15 is okay. So now we have this 70 frame animation of appearing to our camera view. And now somewhere at the frame number 110, let's bounce a little bit backwards again to the bottom a little bit, and in the end a little bit more. So we will have animation like go up and a little bit down backwards. Now let's open curves and make our animation keys smooth. So just select it, press this button, and rapid start for the first key. We don't need the ease out, and adjust a little bit more other keys, something like this. Okay. And now we will have a nice and smooth go up and then bounce backwards. Okay, some kind of like a wave, go up and down. Okay, perfect. Okay, this we already have. Now the next step, let's make our airplane flap with our wings. So let's go somewhere around frame number 30. Yes, and turn on rotation. Okay, we have this axis to control, and then tilt a little bit our airplane to one side, like this. Okay, nice, but seems like our frame 0 keeps this angle for 30 frames. Yeah, we didn't make the key with this button at the beginning, but that's fine. Just let's make another tilt to another side in the frame 0, and we will have this nice animation in between. Okay, good. So our airplane enters our frame in the with this angle to the right side. Now let's go maybe 30 frames forward, like 56 maybe, and then rotate another side. And okay, and open curve, so we'll have this animation with rotation right and left. We still can adjust the amplitude. Okay, nice. Now let's go to the frame 90, and let's okay, that was rotation to the left side. In the frame 90, let's make it to the opposite, to the right side. So basically our airplane like a floating boat, it rotates from one side to another. Now let's go frame number 120, rotate backwards to the left side again, and in the end let's adjust a little bit more to the other side. Okay, perfect. So now we have this nice floating. Okay, it seems like in the end we have a big gap between keys. Yeah, let's kill this this key. We don't need it. Yes, let's move this one a little bit, this one, and let's create one more key just here in between, and adjust the amplitude, and here as well a little bit. So now we have like this, like a pine tree silhouette of with our keys. Make it smooth. Also rapid start. Okay, and let's keep adjusting. You just need to play the animation and adjust a little bit step by step with the small adjustments, and do it until your animation is really smooth and you are satisfied with the float of your plane. Okay, something like this. Now we have this pretty good, pretty realistic floating. Don't afraid to try one more time, kill the tilting, the rotation keys, and do it again. Maybe the second time will be better. So now we need to adjust the x-axis, this angle for the airplane. So since it goes upwards, it might rise the nose of the airplane up. Okay, in the end of the going up, now we need to rotate it again, the nose down a little bit, because normally airplane cannot go down, cannot ascend without lowering the orientation, lowering the nose with a constant speed, of course. So let's lower the nose of airplane a little bit more, somewhere here, a little bit. Okay, we still can adjust, so let's open the curves and check our keys. Okay, we have suddenly we got this flat section. Why it's like this? Need to check. Okay, it's our main position key. So okay, let's delete another one. Okay, now it's better. Okay, next step. Okay, let's make it smooth first. Select all keys, make it Bezier, make the rapid start, and maybe adjust a little bit amplitude here. Okay, let's check the animation. This is very important to constantly watch the viewport. Okay, it's pretty good, but I think we need to adjust the nose dive, the x-axis rotation, make it maybe a little bit slower. We are changing too fast, so I think we can adjust a little bit here, delete this frame, move this one a little bit, so we have this long wave of animation. Okay, maybe a little bit higher in the last key. Yes, something like this. Okay, now let's check the viewport animation. Going up, go down with the nose, and then hold. Go up, down, and hold. Okay, good. Now we can adjust a little bit the tilting, the y-axis. It's a little bit too fast, so we can lower the amplitude here. Yeah, something like this. Okay, let's check the animation. Okay, pretty nice. I think with this speed and amplitude, our airplane movement is pretty real. I think it's good. Okay, now Now it's time to animate our camera. So let's unhide our camera. Select our camera target. And what's the idea for the camera? The idea is that the camera will follow the airplane. So let's move a little bit here in the frame 70, or just press create key, then go frame 0 and then go down, so we will see the changing of our sky movement. By the way, let's add the sky, add some HDRI. Okay, now it's better. So our camera is chasing it's chasing our airplane in the frame, so it goes upward with the plane. Go up a little bit more. Yeah, just keep going upwards. So because it's not synchronized with the airplane. Yeah, I forgot to create the key. Yeah, it's keep going higher than airplane, and then in the end it goes down and trying to keep the airplane in the frame. Okay, let's play the animation. Okay, nice movement, but I think it's a little bit slow, so let's adjust it. And maybe not just camera, but also to tweak a little bit the animation of the airplane. Okay, yeah, now it's good. So let's watch the animation. Okay, looks great with the full screen. Okay, I think it's fine for our tutorial. We are done with the airplane and the camera animations. I'm recording this animation one more time because before I did the recording for the first animation, but somehow I lost my files, so I'm trying to replicate the animation one more time. So we are done here. Let's move to another chapter, chapter number 2, with the smoke emission from the engines. So let's move next chapter. All right, here's our airplane animation. And the first thing that I must to say and explain is that our airplane is still in the middle of the grid. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just changing its altitude and tilting its wings a little bit. Also, camera is animated as well. In the final shot, I added some helper for the camera to imitate that camera is attached to another airplane. It's just like this dummy. So it's kind of gives additional floating to the camera. So it's like another airplane that shooting our Boeing airplane as well. So our airplane model doesn't go anywhere. And another thing that I must to say is that we will try to maintain the real-time feedback from our simulation as long as possible, to pass our simulation stages as far as possible with the maximum feedback. So we will keep some values from the simulator pretty low to get the first smoke results, at least some basic shape and the speed. And for that, we will limit our simulation area as less as possible to make it real-time fast, because in my final scene, the simulation bounding box was pretty big. It started somewhere in front of the engines, as aside from the wings, like this, and very long. It's like a 5 to 7 airplane bodies, and it was pretty heavy. Yes, something like this size. The very important thing is do not make it too small, because our forces will be affected by the walls, even though it's open walls, but still it will like a stuck. It will attract our smoke to the sides, so it's not very good idea. So keep it with some additional spaces around. Indeed, it's pretty big simulation. It's like 165 frames. It's like a overnight simulation for 16 cores CPU. Luckily, in my own scene, I have this angled camera view, so we cannot see too far. So we don't see this back wall, and we can play around with some parameters like a cutaway smoke or dissipation. So it will be a little bit easier, because in my movie scene the camera was very straight to the airplane, and we saw very far, and my simulation was very long to keep the smoke really far away from the camera. And another thing that I must to say here, we will at the beginning we will focus only on one engine. So let's create our simulation bounding box and focus only on one engine. That will be a good idea, and high efficient simulation for the first steps. Let's make it center to the engine. Also in the top, in the front view, we must to keep some space under the engine, because the smoke will fall down a little bit because of some gravity and the airflow under the wing. So let's keep some space at the bottom. Okay, something like this. So we can keep less space at the top. And another thing that I must say, that because of our airplane animation, it starts from the bottom and go up till here. So we will have too much area to simulate, also this part at the bottom. So to ignore this, we will just focus on static area, on static object. So for that we will make a source object. It's just a simple cylinder, and we will place it just in the middle of the engine exhaust area, and we will not connect it to the engine, so it will be static in the scene. It will be easier for us for simulation. Okay, something like this, maybe a little bit smaller, and just go a little bit inside. Since our camera view is pretty far from the airplane and we don't see this this area, so we don't need to place it too deep inside the engine. Just make it centered, and it's fine. And now let's add editable poly modifier. Select one this polygon, Ctrl I to invert and delete the rest of them, and we are fine with this mesh. Just make a name, mesh emitter. Okay, and don't forget to make it not render enabled, just in case it might appear on our renders. So just don't forget that it was created in the frame 44, because we're not going to link it to the airplane, and see, it's just static. Okay, next step, let's create a selection set for our airplane. This is our helper with the animation, and let's select all that is attached to this dummy 05. So this is our airplane objects. Okay, and don't forget to add to the selection our fans. Okay. And we can make a selection set plane, hit enter, and now we can call it, and we can hide it, and also we can unhide it, so it's kind of convenient. Okay, for now also we don't need camera. Also our helper, and now it's okay. Okay, just don't be confused with the polygon, because our smoke emission will be along with the normals. So when you okay, frame 44, when you are deleting the polygon, just delete the right one, because otherwise the smoke will go instead of outside of the engine, it will go inside the engine. So just don't be confused. Okay, let's hide everything. And now it's time to create our source object. And let's add our mesh. And here is one important thing, that I'm keep simulating the temperature. And this is kind of interesting because we need only smoke, but the temperature will help us to keep few effects. First of all, our smoke trail will be very straight first several frames, and the turbulence will start a little bit later, after the behind the wings maybe, and it will curl far away from the airplane. And also temperature will fill whole the stream of the voxels like this. And since our smoke cannot be inside of the temperature, it will be only at the sides of our stream, and inside will be temperature, which we will turn off later. So as a result, we will see only the sides of our stream with the smoke, and after a few meters away from the engine, it will start to curl into some vorticity. So we need to keep the temperature for this curling and pushing away effect for the smoke. Okay, so next let's add all these objects to our simulator. I prefer to work in a include list without exclude hidden objects option, because sometimes I have several additional helpers in my scene as a reference, but not all of them I want to affect my simulator, so I know that only the one in the list are affecting my simulation. Also, let's adjust the size of our bounding box. Maybe make it a little bit smaller and a little bit more narrow. Okay, maybe we can make it a little bit shorter. It is also fine for our test simulation at the beginning. Half of the million voxels is a good spot for 16 cores CPU. That will give pretty good feedback. What else? I think we must to set up output cache files. Okay, and we can launch our simulation and check how does it look like. And it is fantastic, but not for the engines. So let's adjust the velocity, output velocity, to 40 to make it a little bit more powerful exhaust. And okay, it is very obvious that our object is fixed in one position, and it's not like a flying engine through the air. And to imitate the speed of the airplane, we need to fake the speed, and we will do it with this helper, the plane force. Just create it in front of the airplane, in front of the simulation bounding box. Rotate it 90 degrees, so it will blow the smoke away from the engine. Okay, that will blow our smoke. And the drag parameter 0.9 is a good spot for this parameter. Max distance. For this parameter, I was playing between 20 and 30 meters, considering the position of my helper, and that was giving nice force of the wind next to the engines and nice fading away with the distance away from the airplane. Also considering the size of my simulator and the camera angle, it was looking fine actually. But still, it is possible that in your case, if the camera will be more centered to the airplane, like my movie shot, and you will see far away, it will be a longer simulation. So maybe in your case, max distance could be higher, like 100 meters or something. But for our scene and our camera angle, it is fine to keep around 25 meters. Fade start, I was using 0.1, so the force begins to fade away almost right after the engine, and the speed is dropping down at maximum distance of 25 meters. This is if I'm reading correctly these two parameters. Also, don't forget to check that effect list has smoke channel as well. And the option apply force behind the icon, we can skip it because our helper is already in front of the simulation bounding box. What else? I want to adjust my viewport to make it more contrast, because it is hard to see the smoke in the viewport. Okay, now it is better, more higher contrast. Okay, now we can try to launch our simulation one more time and check how does it look like. Okay, speed of the wind 300. No, it doesn't work. I think I forgot to add this helper to the list. That's okay. Let's go back to the 100 and let's start our simulation one more time. Okay, now it is working, and we will see how this helper blows away our smoke, but still not fast enough. It looks like a burning engine, not working engine. So let's increase to 300 the force, and now it looks much more better. What else? For now, we will work in the voxel size 0.2 for the speed purposes, but the final scene was 0.1 meter voxel size. Okay, other parameters. Gravity could be low, 0.1. And next is one of the most important values for this simulation is time scale, because we need to get to the right value for the scale of our airplane. Too slow is bad, and too fast is also bad. Too fast will make even break our trail with some holes inside the smoke. And too slow is also bad. That will create like a huge cloud of the smoke instead of a nice trail, straight one. So you will have to find the right value for your scene. And okay, let's find what is the right value for our case. So let's start simulation and try 1.7. And okay, it looks fine. It makes almost straight line. Let's compensate with the steps per frame. Let's try 8. That's too much. We are losing our real-time effect. So let's try 2 instead. Yeah, 2 is fine for now. Conservation method is direct smooth. You can read on the Chaos website about other types of the conservation to make it clear. Okay, let's change the viewport to GPU shaded. And let's open volume options. So let's make it more dense and maybe darker also. So these two parameters, the color. And let's adjust the temperature, because our temperature flies too far away. We actually need it only just next to the engine. So let's make cooling higher, or maybe even 1.5. So yeah, so the temperature will stay just next to the engine exhaust area. Okay, now we can turn off the temperature from the viewport. For now, yes, indeed, it looks quite poor. That's because of not enough conservation value and steps per frame. We will adjust the vorticity values now, and then we will make offline simulation with maybe better voxel size, maybe 0.15, and the higher conservation, higher steps per frame, especially conservation here. It was like a 60, 50, or maybe 70 in my final scene, and also without this uniform density option. And okay, speaking of vorticity, we will adjust it. The temperature surface, since we need the temperature only next to our engine exhaust area, just in this straight cone, we don't need too much vorticity. So 0.015 is a good value. And these two, smoke surface and large scale, are completely fine to play around. You can try your own settings. For me, it was a good result 0.45 for smoke surface and large scale 0.4. But that, if you want to see like a more curl in your smoke, if you want to make it more smooth, more straight, you can try 0.1, and that will be also fine. Okay, let's try our simulation with the current settings, how it looks like. Now the smoke is more dense, more straight. There are not so many holes inside. Okay, for now it looks okay. Let's stop the simulation, and let's try another two settings. One of them is smoke buoyancy. Because of smoke from the engine supposed to go down a little bit because of the gravity, because of the forces under the wing of the airplane, it's supposed to go down to the ground a little bit. So for this, -4 is a good value altogether with a gravity 0.1, because if the gravity was 1, probably -4 would be too much. Okay, so this is our gravity and the smoke buoyancy. And next parameter is smoke dissipation, and this parameter is totally depends on your scene and mostly on your camera, how far is your camera showing the trail, because if the camera shows really far away and you see whole your trail, probably you need dissipation not that fast. For example, here on our reference for the smoke, for the brown smoke of B52, we see that our smoke gets very thin, like maybe 50 meters away from the airplane. But if we are speaking about the general airplanes with the white steam from the airplane from the engines, that could go like a kilometers away from the airplane and stay in the sky for a long time. And in that case, smoke dissipation could stay just zero. But for our case, for our scene and camera angle, because we don't see very well the back wall of the bounding box, it's kind of far away, we can set our smoke dissipation pretty high, like 0.35, and we will dissipate our smoke pretty quickly, pretty fast. Well, maybe a simulation will be a little bit shorter, something like this. If we are not setting dissipation high, we could cause the problem that the smoke will be trapped at the back wall and will stay there like a cork in a bottle. In that case, we will see like a huge cloud of the smoke. So need to keep dissipation 0.35 pretty strong for our case. Okay, another parameter, randomization. I wasn't using this. I'm not suggesting because the problem is that will break this curl, this readable surface of the smoke. If we'll set like a 0.2, 0.5, that will create like artificial turbulences in and break these shapes of the smoke, and we can see it on our references. If you look closer, for example, this photo, you can see that it is easy to recognize these separate elements of the smoke, like these separate curls. And if we'll add randomization, it will just create like some kind of lines and it will break these shapes. So I'm not suggesting to use randomize in this simulation. Okay, what else? Foil we are not using because we don't emit this channel from our source. We just have temperature and the smoke. Okay, what else? Let's hide our airplane. Okay, let's adjust our voxel size value, and we will make a more detailed offline simulation. We will increase also fluidity and the steps per frame. Steps per frame, actually, we need kind of a lot because it is really fast simulation. We have a high time scale 0.7. We have a strong wind 300 value. So I would suggest to start testing maybe from 8, but since I know my own project, this system, I think I will try 12 for now. In fact, steps per frame is connected to everything in this simulation. It is connected with the cooling, with dissipation, with buoyancy. So it means 12 times each frame, the voxels will take effect from all these parameters. So keep in mind that it is better do not play too much with this parameter. Do not try to test something with steps per frame 2 and then set to 25 and then expect that the result will be just the same. So for more information, you better check the Chaos website for more details about this. And for the conservation fluidity, I would suggest to try 40. And actually, you can try even higher, 60, maybe 80. Actually, in my final scene, it was around 68, I remember. So we will make an offline simulation with these parameters. Now it's fine. Let's check source as well. Here we adjusted velocity from 10 to 40. Noise, I would suggest, actually I would say that you shouldn't use noise at all. Just keep it 0. Because otherwise, if you input like something 1 or maybe some extreme values 5, that will make look your engine broken. The thrust and the smoke stream will be just broken. It won't be linear anymore. And this is actually how healthy engine supposed to work. It will produce a stable, consistent amount of thrust or heat, smoke, fire, depends on what kind of engine we are talking about. So and for that, for this nice clean trails for our project, we must keep noise at level 0 and do not touch it. All right, we are done here. So let's go back to our simulator and check how it will work with our current settings. All right, now we have more than 100 frames and let's check how it works. Okay, so I think the dissipation is fine. We are our smoke fades away really nice, but looks like we have too much vorticity in the beginning, closer to the engine. So I think we need some maybe a little bit more force from our helper. So let's adjust our plane force, and let's change fade start to 0.2 so it will lose its power not that fast, and let's make it a little bit closer to the airplane. Also, let's increase max distance a little bit to up to 30, so it will blow the smoke away a little bit further. And let's try a new simulation with smaller voxel size, 0.1, so it's like a final setting and the final quality here. At least up to 50 frames just to check how it looked like with one engine. And let's change fluidity to 68. That's as well as my final setting, and the rest of the settings are actually fine. In the front view, we see that our smoke buoyancy works also very well. So our smoke, you can see, drops down away from the engine. So we can keep this value for the buoyancy. And let's try some cheat as well. Let's give some angle to our plane force helper, just like 3 degrees down, so it will blow our smoke a little bit down as well. So the rest of the settings are fine. So let's try a new simulation. All right, here's our new sim, and we have about 50 frames and something. Yeah, 56. So you can see the difference with the previous one, when it was a little bit bulky, wider, more vorticity, and our new simulation is like more straight line, more feels like a little bit more powerful. Let's see, maybe we can increase the quality, and no, the detail reduction is already 0. Let's check how it looks like with the airplane. Yeah, indeed, it's still static, but at least we can see the scale. Actually, it looks fine. It have some nice dissipation in the end. Of course, we need a longer simulation because it feels like our smoke trail ends just next to the tail of airplane, but actually, in fact, it's supposed to be much more longer, maybe 2 times longer. Okay. I think it was a little bit too much with this helper. Let's move it a little bit further away, and let's decrease max distance to 25. So I think that will work a little bit better. And maybe slightly bigger voxel size, 0.12. Okay, let's go very down to the volumetric options. And okay, what is the most important here is section smoke opacity. By the default, it set to simple smoke, but here we need to use smoke and we need to see the diagram of the opacity. Well, first of all, we need to talk about what actually this diagram shows to us, because this is the most important part of this tutorial. This diagram shows to us the data information of our smoke voxels, and the left side shows the most thin voxels of the smoke, almost dissipated. So normally this is what we have in the end of our trail. And the right side of the diagram shows the most thick voxels of our smoke simulation. And if our green box will be just like this, very narrow, just like if we were simulating smoke just at the level 0.2, so only here will be our data. It will be very limited, and another side will be just gray, the empty data, actually the missing data. And the vertical part is just how strong our opacity. So at the top it will be minimum opacity, so the maximum visibility of the smoke. And the bottom it is zero opacity, so it means we cannot see this smoke. So actually, as you see now, first 10% of our thin smoke we cannot even see because it's zero opacity at the graph now. And if we will input here 0, we will instantly see these very thin smoke voxels that were absent before. And if we will move it away, we will make it invisible again. So like in this example, all in between this left side and the point, like now, like first 16% of the smoke is just absent in our viewport, so we are not showing these voxels. So let's move it back to 0, 0. So this is our case for our project. We must start from the very beginning. And the right side of the graph, this point, which represents this very thick smoke, we need to pull it down just actually to the 0, so we will not show the most thick smoke of our simulation. And all visibility should be located here in the left side of the diagram. So in fact, we are going to render only thin smoke voxels located here in the left side of the diagram. So we can maybe adjust a little bit the visibility. If we'll pull this point which represents these parts of the smoke, if we'll pull it higher, so it gives more visibility. And the right side of the diagram is 0, and it represents this smoke which is in the beginning of the simulation next to the emitter, and it creates an effect of like a hollow stream. It is empty inside, and we see the smoke only at the sides of this stream, with this curling and turbulences of the smoke around the main stream, and in the end it just mixes all together. we can adjust a little bit this graph. Um, Basically, this opacity diagram has to be adjusted for each shot individually. So there is no any universal settings for this diagram, so you still have to adjust a little bit these points. For example, if you have several shots in a sequence, and they have slightly different time scale, maybe different dissipation, maybe a little bit another shape of the emitter. So you will have to balance this diagram to make this sequence of several shots look similar and keep continuity. My suggestion for this scene is to keep a rapid start for the first point of this diagram. For that, we need to make it Bezier and pull this trigger upwards and stick to the left side. And we will reveal more opacity for these smoke voxels. This point we can also make it smooth, adjust a little bit, and also try to stick left side of the diagram. And with this point, we can adjust the visibility of the middle part of our simulation with a little bit more thicker smoke voxels somewhere here in this area. Looks like our smoke is a little bit too dense, so I think we can adjust our opacity. In my project, the maximum visibility was like just 10% of maximum opacity, which means 0.1 on this graph. So for that, we can select all these points and scale it down to this level. Okay, now it looks much better with this transparency level. It all depends on the effect you want to get. Either you want very transparent smoke, barely visible, or if you want to achieve something like this with this B52 shot, just like in my movie with this kind of toxic brownish foil. So it all depends on your choice. Also need to consider that different lighting can give you different shade of your smoke. Either it's overcast day or maybe direct lighting from the sun or a night shot even. Or maybe you want to get something like very very thin, like with this civil airplane Boeing, like this one, or you want a brownish from the military airplane, or even just clear white color. But for the military airplanes, as you see on my references, it varies from brown to gray and even maybe a little bit bluish colors of the smoke. So the conclusion is that the height of this graph, which means the density of your smoke and the color of your smoke, you can set by yourself. There's no any suggestions, but for this project, I would say that it's supposed to be something like this, some kind of rusty colors. Yes, something around like that. And of course, in a viewport, we have a little bit different look. We're supposed to get some lighting to check it on a render. Fire we are not using. It is disabled. Okay. So let's leave it like this for now. I guess it's time to extend our simulator to the second engine. Also, we adjusted our voxel size a little bit. So let's make it a little bit bigger, and then we will set the lighting and check the look of our smoke with the rendering instead of viewport. Let's delete our old cache, and we need to change the size of our simulation bounding box, make it wider and a little bit longer. Okay, something like this. And this time I think we will go to the frame number 44 and connect our emitter to the airplane, and also we need to duplicate this mesh for the second engine. So let's copy, no, not like this, let's copy the object, yes, okay, and place it just in the middle of the second engine. It's very important to make it very centered, just in the middle, and place it just a little bit inside of the nozzle of the our engine. So now we need to attach the mesh of the second engine to our first mesh emitter. So it's just the same mesh with the same name, and it is already included in the simulation and our source, this name mesh emitter. Okay, and now we need to check our vertical animation. Oh, stop, we need to, I forgot to attach our meshes to the dummy, so this time we will use our vertical animation. Actually, the animation of our airplane will be included in our simulation. Okay, so now we need to check the range of our vertical movement to adjust our size of the bounding box of the simulator. So for that I use usually I use some splines to mark the silhouette of the simulator. I think we need to start somewhere from here. Also make it bright color. Okay, something like this. So it is very convenient to see how big your simulator is supposed to be in a final, either it's vertical projection or front view. So now let's move our simulator down to this level, to the beginning of our animation, and increase the size of the z-axis. Okay, good. Now we got almost 20 million voxels, the maximum volume of our bounding box. I think the final simulation will be 4 times bigger, so it's like a double to the right side. And from the back it is also maybe also 40 million, so in total will be like 80 million of voxels. So now we are ready to go. So let's start our simulation and then see already 2 engines and with the airplane animation. And here's our preview from the latest simulation. I think it looks great. It depends on if you're okay with this amount of vorticity. We still can adjust vorticity parameters for our simulation. Maybe also plane force helper might be adjusted a little bit, maybe faster, I don't know. Okay, our next step will be checking our simulation already with the rendering, and for that we need to create lighting for our scene. That will be a V-ray sun emitter. Let's go to the top view to create it. So our camera is a little bit angled to the airplane, so let's create the V-ray sun from the left side to get nice shadows on our airplane. Okay, seems like it is already created in my scene. Let me check what is it. Okay, yeah, it is already created, and it's just only few settings were changed from the default. It is V-ray sun. I changed the size multiplier to 0.175 to make the shadows more sharper over our airplane body. Another setting that I changed was ground albedo. I shifted from the brownish colors by default to kind of bluish, so it looks like our airplane flies over the ocean. And the third thing is cloud parameters. You can just copy it from the video. It is not very important. So now let's launch the render and check how does it look like. Okay, we have a little problem. It seems that I forgot to turn on the V-Ray Sky, and because of my airplane is made of like a polished steel, this kind of material, so it appears on a render almost black. Okay, let's restart our rendering. Okay, now it is better. In general, I'm not recommending to use always interactive mode for the rendering, because sometimes it works not very in a correct way with the volumetrics, like our smoke. And sometimes after some adjustments, you go back to the production render, hit the render, and then you'll notice some differences that you didn't expect to see. Okay, now let's set this small region render and then check how it looks like. As you see, there are a few filters in my frame buffer. We can turn it off. It is not important for now. And also I'm using OCO for ACES colors. There is not so much things to say about this. You can read additional information from the Chaos website. Basically, you just choose the config file, you choose ACES CG colors from the list, display also ACES, and it just works. So we can either stay in OCO or we can turn it off and stay in sRGB. For now, it doesn't matter. We will use it already in the last chapter with the compositing. All right, let's check our rendering a little bit closer. And we already see this effect of hollow stream. It is created by two things: that we were simulating the temperature channel, and also we inverted the opacity diagram. So these two created this hollow effect, and it looks great, pretty realistic. And we see this very thin smoke in the beginning, and like 10 meters away from the engine it starts to mixing and curling and gets this more thicker look. Okay, now we will go to the volumetric settings of our smoke, and then we will render this small region to see how it affects. Let's go to the very bottom, to the rendering tab. There's almost everything is default, 90% step, always default. Motion blur is 1. Maybe in your case, if you will have too high velocities and you will be lacking of some details, you can adjust it to 2.5, and then you will reveal some additional details in the smoke. But for our case, for my scene, 1.0 is okay. Alright, volumetric options. Fire, we are not using. Small color. So here I will repeat one more time the most important parameters that you will have to adjust for your scene. Constant color in the small color tab. This one defines your smoke color. It can be this kind of rusty colors, like I was showing you on the references with a B52, which represents some kind of toxic fuel, or it can be a little bit bluish, like is more usual for military airplanes with the normal fuel, which is not toxic. It's just like a gray and blue. Um, Again, my lens effect turn on again. I don't know why. Okay, let's go back. See the difference between these two, the rusty colors of the smoke, and this one is bluish colors. Also, it can be white color, which is more usual for the civil airplanes, like a normal Airbus A350 and kind of like that. Okay, and again my lens effect is on. Okay, this must be turned off. But what white trails is a little bit different because it is not actually a smoke, but it is more like a steam because the hot gas coming out from the engine has just kind of condensation in the cold air on a high altitude. So it's a little bit different to the smoke. And also those trails supposed to be a little bit longer than just a normal smoke. Okay, let's go back to the brown color that I was setting for my project. Okay, this one is for color scattering. Scattering, I think there's no any reason to change from approximate to shadows because our voxels are very thin and almost transparent, so you will barely see any differences in scattering modes, so you can just keep approximate and shadows. Volumetric light cache. This one will speed up your rendering. In normal cases, zero point 0.9 is fine. But if you have some spots, some flickerings, some problems in your smoke, you can go down to 0.7 or maybe 0.5, or you can even turn it off completely, so your rendering will be super clean, but at the same time will be very long. And for those who has no any problems with the flickering, or you have a too much smoke on the screen and your rendering goes too slow, or you want to make a quick test, you can raise this parameter to 0.975, and that will boost your render speed. But I suggest to keep it 0.9 as default. External scattering multiplier is very interesting parameter. It defines how much light from the outside emitters will go inside your smoke. The on-light scattering defines how much light from the fire, but we are not using this, so we can ignore this parameter. And with the external multiplier, we can get some really nice effects for our scene. If you set 0.1, we will get nice shadowing inside our smoke because very little light will go inside this volume. Okay, maybe for better view, I should turn off this resolution decrease and try to render at the full size. So now it is better to see that inside of our smoke volumes we have these dark areas because the light is struggling to go inside of our smoke and still leads the voxels at the edge of this trail. Similar effect you can see on the heavy rain clouds in the sky, where the middle part of the cloud appears very dark, almost black, and edges of the cloud can be lit and have a like a light halo around the cloud. So actually, this parameter creates this kind of effect, and it defines how much light can go inside the volume. Okay, if we will go back to 1.0 and render this small part, we will see that with the maximum light, we get this almost flat look to our smoke. There's not so many details as before, and in general it completely changes the look of our smoke on the render. Details and the colors and the brightness especially the colors, because when we have a maximum power of the scattering multiplier, we got the colors from this constant color checker. And when we have 0.1, we got these shadows inside the smoke, and it becomes dark and gets the colors from the surrounding surfaces, or maybe some ambient lights. Okay, so these two parameters are most important from the smoke color section. Let's go to the smoke opacity and talk about the opacity diagram. We will check the rendering in the interactive mode to have a faster feedback. As I mentioned before, to focus our visibility of the smoke to edges of our trails, to make it hollow inside, and see the smoke already like several meters off behind the engines, we need to focus our visibility diagram on the left side with these points, and the right side of the diagram with the thick smoke voxels. They are just completely transparent. The visibility is 0, and we can see it on our renderings. It's just hollow stream. So now to adjust our visibility, the total density of whole our stream, we can select these points, or just this one, the top points, and we can pull them up, and that will maintain the hollow style of our exhaust, but increase the density of the visible part of the smoke volume. We can make it 0.4, like 40% of the transparency, but this is not our case. This is too much for our situation, because we are trying to make it a very thin exhaust from the normal working healthy engines. So let's pull them back to 10% or maybe even below, because actually in my main project it was something around 0.05, so it's like 5% of the transparency. So our smoke supposed to be very, very thin and really transparent. The right side of our graph is also fine to adjust. We can move these points a little bit closer to the middle part of whole our data range, 0.5 in my case, and this shoulder point is also can be adjusted a little bit, but this will bring more visibility to the middle parts of the volume. And with this, we are losing a little bit details in the middle section of the simulation. This spike, the right side of the spike, gets this ease out effect, and the middle part of the simulation, this area, losing a little bit its details. In the left side, we still see this hollow effect because these points are still close to the left side of the graph. But here we have this ease out look of the graph. It's like a smooth or Bezier type of the point. So it blurs a little bit details here, keep in mind. Still, this is fine because some references shows exactly like this. The smoke is a little bit blurry and nice blending in between parts of the every curl of the smoke. But if you want to keep the sharp details, you need to keep this spike on the graph from the left side, and maybe even pull down a little bit this point. So this will keep the details. That's it. These three parameters are the most important for the visualization of our trails. One more time. First one is constant color, defines the color of our smoke. Scattering defines how much details and lights go inside our smoke. And this graph works with the opacities. The rest are more technical and less important, like scattering, volume cache. You still can play around with the absorption. It's a kind of interesting parameter. If we are staying in a gray, neutral gray colors, we are not shifting our small color on a render. Actually, it is very similar to the V-Ray material and how the soft scattering works here inside the V-Ray material. This color, when we input some colors into this color box, we got some interesting shifting of the RGB on the render. So you still can play around with this parameter as well. Alright, this is all about the visualization of our smoke. I explained all these parameters. There's not so many, yes, indeed. I just let myself to explain a little bit more deeper with the details of every single parameter. So we will keep this look of the smoke. It is okay, pretty good. So now we will extend our simulation bounding box to the whole 4 engines. We need to create the rest 2 emitters. So we just copy already existing objects, just like this. And then we need to attach all together and keep this name. So it will be still added to the source and to the simulator here. So they are all here. They are all connected to the helper. Final size of the simulation bounding box will be like this spline I marked before. And by the height, it is okay. I think we don't need to adjust it. It is already starts from the bottom and have enough room above. Final simulation will be definitely heavy because only this little chunk is already 35 millions. Let's kill existing cache and make our bounding box cover whole area that we need. This one with the width, this one with the length. Okay, perfect. And the height is okay. Yes, now we have 130 millions. In my project that is on YouTube, it was 175, so it's like almost the same, very close to it. Parameters we can keep as it is. Maybe we can just add a little bit more dissipation, so we will prevent smoke coming to the back wall even more, so we will be safe from any troubles with this heavy simulation. So that's it. All is locked, all 4 engines are included, animation is included. So let's make a final simulation and we are ready to render and go to the chapter 4 with the compositing. Okay, here's our final simulation preview and it looks gorgeous. It is so much better to see with the all 4 engines, and I'm pretty satisfied with the dynamics, with the speed, with the its turbulences, and the dissipation is perfect. We don't have any excessive smoke at the back wall. So now I will show the compositing, how it was made, and that will be this will be the last chapter of this tutorial. Welcome to the Blackmagic Fusion. This is my primary software for the compositing, for the pre-comps. I feel a little bit better, more comfortable than in Nuke with this software. This is my node system for the post-production of this project. The only difference from Nuke is that in Fusion we have a horizontal node system, and in Nuke it is by the default it is vertical, so should be fine to understand. As for the After Effects users, that might be a little bit challenging to understand what's going on here, but I will show step by step how image is changing, so you will understand how to replicate the same in the layered system. Alright, let's start with my first node with the loader, where I input my raw render from 3D Max. It is almost full HD resolution, and aspect ratio is 235 to 1, so it's like a cinema ratio. Next, I have this ACES nodes. So first one is turning on the ACES colors, but this node is like a half of the thing, because it just turns the mode for corrections, and this node finishes this process. So it is more logical to watch them together, these two nodes. And in between them I have several nodes like this, with the color corrections and the gamma corrections and other adjustments, and I will show them one by one now. Alright, so first node, color correction. Here I adjusted some colors, suppressed, decreased some saturation, also a little bit decreased gamma. Color gain, I suppressed too much blue color and made the sky look like a sunset a little bit. These two curves nodes were for contrast corrections over the whole image. This color correction node was for the sky. I work here with the mask. I took it from the alpha, which comes from my render sequence. I didn't render any additional mask here on this project. It was not needed at all. So with this node I was trying to make the sky more bright with the contrast, with these corrections. So area around the horizon was my target to make it really bright. This next node is actually opposite to the previous one. Here I apply corrections, trying to apply corrections only to the airplane. It still affects a little bit my sky, because my mask is not very perfect. It still have some information on the alpha around the airplane. Probably I could make it more efficient without these excessive nodes. It is too many. It's a little bit messy adjustments, but I didn't have any idea to make it as efficient as possible. Anyway, my last correction node is brightness and contrast, to make some kind of darker sky. This is the final node from ACES. These two are just trackers. I tracked my sky from the left corner and the right corner to later apply the animation to my lens effect node. So basically these two nodes are not included into the image adjustments actually, so they are staying just separately. So my next node is film effect. I was trying to add some more brightness to the sky. Yeah, indeed it became a little bit more blue again, but I like how my kind of gray colors were removed from the image, and it became more clear, so I can see better my trails. So my next node is just sharpness. It is very mild, so it is mostly works for the smoke. Next node is also sharp, but default from the Fusion. Previous one has more adjustments, and the basic one is just a very simple sharp node. So it is sharps whole my image, and then defocus cleans a little bit noise from the previous sharp, but mostly I added for its bloom effect to bring my sky even brighter. And also, yeah, something like this. My sky now becomes really bright, and also it cleans my render. I didn't have enough time for the rendering with the highest settings, unfortunately. My next node is just a simple glow to make it more shiny. Then I have a resize for the bigger resolution by the horizontal, and then I make it full HD. Then I add this that I mentioned before, this lens effect that is using my trackers. Then it's very classical, some aberrations, but very mild, so it is barely visible, mostly like this. It's very light. And my last node is just a film grain. So that's it. This is how my compositing. So you see this difference from how it was and how it became in the end. Well, technically we need to watch with the ACES colors when we are seeing as before. So this should be like before and after. That's true that this is not the best compositing ever. It is messy, too many nodes. Some of them are opposite to each other, and this is why I'm showing this this project, this post-production this fast without any details, because there's not so much reason to show the all details. It is just an idea how to show you how to get from this, how to get this. That's it. This tutorial mostly is about effects, but not about the compositing. Anyway, let's wrap this up. So I'm finishing this tutorial, and I showed you in details how to animate the airplane, how to set up the camera, animate camera, how to create the smoke, how to render whole this thing, and how to improve your raw render image with some compositing tricks. Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about is how I added additional animation to the camera that I mentioned before. So let's hide the smoke. We don't need it now. Also, these additional cameras, let's hide it as well. Okay, this is actually two cameras, because I was doing some tests to figure out which type of camera is better for depth of field. So this one is a test. So let's hide this. We don't need it as well. Okay, so this is our project camera, and okay, I think my viewport is not very responsible. I think I will just delete the smoke from the scene to make it more responsible. Yes, that's much better. Okay, in addition to this, I will also add some sky image to the viewport. Okay, not even like this. I will add just HDRI. Yes. So we will see the camera animation in front of the sky instead of just a gray color. Okay, perfect. So now we can play the animation, and if you focus on the sky on the background, you will notice that the camera has not just up and down animation, but also some nice floating. So I will show you how it was made. For that, I created a dummy helper, place it at the camera position, and for this dummy I added a rotation controller. So to add this controller, you need to stay on the rotation like this and press this button, and then you need to select rotation list and then press OK. And then it will appear here, this list, and then you need to step on the available and then press again this button, and this time you need to select noise rotation. So this will create a controller, this one. So double click on this thing. Yeah, we'll bring this window with some controller settings. Okay, from these settings, first of all, you need to adjust the frequency, because too high frequencies like this, like 1.5, creates this crazy jittering. Even something like 0.1 is still too much. It's like driving the car. So the frequency is supposed to be very low, like 0.02. And after that, you need to adjust individual strengths for X and Y axis. For the X, this motion, we need a value of 5 without this option. So it gives in two directions, +5 and -5 rotations. And for Y-X, we need a value of 10, also without this option. So it is +10, -10. Okay, so it gives this nice flow, just like a camera is attached to another airplane that also has some turbulences. So the last thing that you need is just to select your camera and link to this dummy. Very important that we need to select and camera and its camera target. This is very important. So these two we're supposed to select and then link to the dummy. Okay, so this is exactly this camera that also has its own animation that we made in the chapter 1, and all together with this dummy it gives animation and floating at the same time. Alright, let's watch for the last time our airplane animation in the viewport. And with this gorgeous floating, let's wrap this tutorial up. I really thank you for the watching. I hope this tutorial was useful for you and you learned today how to create such an effect, and you'll be able to create your own video, maybe for the show reel or participate a movie project. So thanks for watching. See you around. Bye bye.